Hey y'all, what's going on? It is Barb Meets World, and I'm back again with my recap and review for Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 10, a very powerful message. Ooh, y'all, this episode, it was okay, but I'm not gonna lie, this season has started to kind of drift a bit for me and not in the best way. But before we get into all of that, y'all make sure you have liked the video. It helps me as far as this whole algorithm thing goes. So please make sure you are liking the video for me. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you're not, go ahead, go on down there, hit that subscription button. And while you're at it, also hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload. And then we're going to move on over to the comment section. Make sure you're commenting so we can keep this conversation going after this is uploaded, because this is not a live. So it's going to be a pre-recorded video. So let's keep that conversation going in the comments, and also make sure you are sharing me with all of your folks. But y'all, like I was saying, this episode didn't really do too much for me. I appreciate the education of it all. I did appreciate just seeing everybody, their families and going through certain things, but at the same time, it still was not giving what, to the level that I would have appreciated it to be giving. So just know that. But I'm gonna try to, judge this recap and review up for you guys. So without further ado, let's go. So Dr. Jackie, she's at work as usual. Letitia was failing at training Bruno. Dr. Alicia was watching her kids and yes, I said her kids because, I can't wait to get into him a little bit later. But he was watching her feed her kids. But the first actual scene we got was of Toya and Simone. They were having a cocktail. And Simone had a long day for, whatever reasons, doing her doctor duties. She had a long day. And Toya really has been rubbing certain people the wrong way, I feel like, these last couple weeks especially, but just based on the way she's been coming off, like, as a partner, like, she hasn't been too much of a team player. Her word choice is not really of a team player, if you will. So she starts saying how she needs to learn how to talk better to Eugene, talk nicer to Eugene, I should say. And Simone is kind of listening, but she is also privy to some information because Cecil told her what Eugene told him, which was that she be, she be on him. And it just seems like, like, she's just so critical of stuff. She's always going to find something wrong with the things that he plans. So it's just like, wow, I don't even know. I don't even know what to do to make her happy these days. I don't even know, because it's just so much pressure, feeling like she's going to have an issue with it, when it really does seem as though she has an issue with it, with pretty much his attempts. That's what it's seeming like. She didn't like the whole butcher thing. Then we find out in this scene, last year he took her to South Carolina. She hated that because she hates history. And I'm just like, okay, granted, it is everybody's life. We are all entitled to liking or disliking whatever we see fit. Okay, let's get that straight. However, when you just jump off the porch by saying, I hate history, like, it just sounded so, I don't know, just bratty. Like the way she was coming off, just, I don't know, sounded very bratty and like shallow and just, yeah, like someone who is hard to please. Like there's no issue in having certain things you would like your partner to do, or certain ways to be treated or whatever, especially if those are some of the ways that person has treated you in the past or whatever. You want to have date nights and stuff like that. I don't feel like that's too much to ask of a partner. But if you're just going to, if the first thing that comes out of your mouth is something negative or kind of gives off yeah, this all right, but you could have done better if you did this, or yeah, this is barely okay, or just it just is always subpar in your eyes, then no, I wouldn't know what to do or even be inclined to want to do anything if that's just how you're gonna come off. And Simone was kind of trying to convey that, but I don't feel like Toya was getting it still. I really don't. But Simone tried, and like, do you hear yourself, girl? Like, because you sounding crazy right now. Like, come on. But Simone, she tried. She tried to tell her, cut him some slack. So we'll see. We'll see. And I believe I saw a little bit of Dr. Heavenly and Carlos's their lives or whatever on the episode. And I feel like Heavenly, when I came in, she was saying something along the lines of Toya, like she's treating him like that, and then other women are going to see, and then that's just going to be an open invitation for them to jump into his DMs. Now that I don't agree with, because at the end of the day, she could be treating him, she could kiss his feet every time he walks in the room. And if he wants to cheat, if he wants to cheat, if he wants to pursue those types of advances, he's going to do it regardless. And that goes for anybody. So I don't really feel like that was necessary to really say. You should just treat your partner well, and they should treat you well, because that's what you guys want to do for each other. And it sounds cliche, but it's treat others how you want to be treated. Like, I don't think that she would take too kindly to him always knocking the things that she did for him and stuff. So I just feel like Tori's one of those people that just really needs to, she's probably a really visual person that needs to really, really be exposed to how she comes off sometimes. That's the only way that she's really gonna like see it, I feel like. So but moving right along, Dr. Jackie, she's having an appointment with a client who needs to lose weight, according to her, because it is unhealthy and she is morbidly obese, according to the scale, to the chart that Dr. Jackie is using or whatever. So of course she is going to recommend her semaglutide, which in this episode, y'all, we learned a lot about the semaglutide / Ozempic / Wegovy. We learned a whole hell of a lot about that. And we were also educated in this scene too. So that was nice. Like I appreciate, I'm just someone who likes to learn. So I always appreciate the medicine. When we get more medicine in these episodes, that's totally fine. But I don't know, I still was kind of bored overall. I can't lie. We also popped in over on Dr. Simone too and discussed all of what I just said as well. She's going through some things with her client, and I think her client was trying to conceive, so she came off the drug a couple weeks ago because you can't be on it when you're pregnant and all that stuff. So she informs her about that, And then she also mentions the drug shortage because a lot of people are using those supplements, drugs and stuff like that. Those are drugs that were formulated originally to treat diabetes for people that have diabetes. So there was a shortage, of course, because everybody in their bestie in Hollywood, it seemed like, especially, was on Ozempic. So she educated us on that, and then she also educated her client on Georgia's heartbeat bill, which basically states that women can only, I don't think can I say that word on here? I don't even think so, but as shout outs to Rodney the Voice, as he would put it, have heaven babies. You can't get that procedure done after 6 months, not 6 months, 6 weeks in the state of Georgia. So she shined light on that and how that can affect one's life and stuff. So I thought that was awesome to see as well. So by no means, y'all, and how I said before, by no means am I saying that there's no value in this episode at all. It just means that we had some really good episodes in the beginning of the season, but I feel like the last like 2 to 3 weeks, we've been kind of slowly falling off. And I wonder how many episodes it is for this season of Married to Medicine. I wonder if I can see. 1 second. Because I know it came on the same time as Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I wonder how many, not Atlanta, Real Housewives of Potomac. But I don't think does Married to Medicine and Housewives usually have the same amount of episodes? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. But I was just curious about that. Toya, Eugene, and their boys, they go to the dentist, and their kids are really funny, first of all. Every time we see those boys, I feel like, especially the oldest one, Ashton. Yeah, I think it's Ashton. Super funny. And of course they were getting on Eugene, and kind of going back to what I was saying before about Toya and Eugene. Like, she just don't be saying, she really doesn't just come off the cuff with the nicest things all the time. She always, for lack of a better word, or better phrase, I should say, she does like to bust his chops a lot. So, and I saw that even in this scene, when she's like, yeah, you were a nerd, didn't really go for nerds like that. I was a freshman dating a senior from another school, which hard pause on that. I always thought that was a little odd to me, but whatever. And Eugene did too. That's why he said something in the confessional, like, skirt, you said what? Like, see, Toya just be sounding any type of way sometimes. I can't even lie. But what I also won't lie about is that I don't fault her for taking this time in their marriage to reassess what they have in common and to kind of try to get that back on track, especially in preparation for when the boys do leave. Like, those years are not that far off. Those boys are not that young. And I feel like this is kind of the makings a lot of times for people. When you see people get divorced shortly after their kids leave the nest, it's usually, and I'm not, by no means, y'all, am I saying that they're bound for divorce or I'm wishing that on them or nothing. Like, totally not my judge at all. However, I will say, when you find yourself not having anything in common and kind of not having nothing to talk about or don't really spend time together, and you're starting to drift apart in those ways during this time, I feel like if you don't nip it in the bud now, or don't, make a decision now, whether if it's salvageable and you're going to salvage it and try to reignite those sparks and stuff like that, you need to make that decision now, because like I said, I feel like a lot of times people get divorced once they figure out like, oh yeah, there's no kids in the house now, nobody to kind of distract us or for us to pour into. We only stuck with each other, and we've been not seeing it for each other and been disinterested in one another for some years now. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope, no, I hope they're able to get that back on track. But I feel like the first things first, Toya, you got to change, like you said, the way that you be saying stuff, because it does not come off very nice a lot of times. I think that's it for them, y'all. Then we see Sweet Tea and Dr. G. They're at her doctor discussing more in depth about her endometriosis diagnosis. There's been a lot of people saying, one, she definitely knew she had these issues before coming on the show or before even extending herself to that man. And then we got everybody else saying like, no, they don't believe that or whatever. I'm here to tell you that, and I speak from a military perspective. I was not in the Air Force. I'm a Marine, first of all, rah. But she was in the Air Force, and I know how these things work. There is hit lists, there is checklists, there is you can't be on a hit list for over a certain amount of days. Otherwise, somebody in a higher ranking position, you're gonna have to answer to them as to why you're still on that list, and they're going to make it their mission to make sure that you are no longer on that list, which means you're literally going to leave work and drive your over to medical and get whatever tests, lab work, immunizations, whatever you need to get. You're going to go over there and get it, so your name can be removed off of whatever lists or whatever. And they're checking stuff head to toe periodically. So again, I'm speaking from military perspective here, y'all. I just find it very, very hard to believe that she had absolutely no clue that any of this was going on to this extent, especially now when we found out later on in the episode that she has, I wrote it down. Oh, I can't find it. But her symptoms have gotten progressively worse. So I just feel like, no, if you're talking about you was bleeding that heavy and all these other things, you're having all this level of life altering issues. I also am someone that's here to say I find it just a little hard to believe that you had no idea until right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say on that. Y'all know how I feel now. Verbatim. So, yeah. And I'm going to stand in that because I've seen how those things work, and it don't work like that to where you just would not know. Like, whatever. But yeah, Cecil, I don't really understand why Cecil and Simone were over there, and Simone felt like she needed to take a black light around those boys' rooms and whatever. But whatever, they went to go see their sons and the new house or whatever, and she pulled out a black light to inspect the entire house. I didn't really understand that, and they made jambalaya. Yeah, that was really it. Moving on. So the big culminating event for this episode, y'all, and why it is entitled A Very Powerful Message, is because Dr. Jackie, we're down at the studio. She's shooting her PSA. And she's going to also have help from the other ladies, of course. And I'm not even going to spend time talking about how I feel about, Dr. Jackie as a doctor right now and all of that. I'm not even going to speak from that. I'm just not even gonna say anything about that until it's hopefully addressed at the reunion. And I'm saying hopefully because I feel like Jackie isn't always held her feet are not held to the fire as much as they should be a lot with stuff, but whatever. But we're down there, she's shooting a PSA. And they clown, first of all, they clown Dr. Heavenly on not being able to read a teleprompter as if like we're all just so well experienced in reading teleprompters. Like that's not like a skill that you just get automatically a lot of times. Okay, that actually takes some skill. It's not just what you think it is. So hush, okay. And did y'all catch the little subtle shade that Simone was saying like every 2 seconds, I feel like, to Heavenly? I know she does it a lot anyway, but I guess I don't know. I've just been a lot more cognizant of it lately. Like she kept saying things like, "Oh yeah, you know Heavenly loves attention," and then just little stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. Okay, noted. But I mean, and I'm not saying that because I'm surprised y'all. I'm very, very well aware of the history between these two ladies, and I wouldn't really expect Simone to say anything other than those low-key shady things. But it was just interesting to literally continue to hear her saying these little things. Like, yeah, okay, Simone, let us know how you really feel. Okay. Then Sweet Tea and Toya showed up, followed by Phaedra, who I really hated Phaedra's makeup and her look for this. They were all supposed to have on black, of course. And it was supposed to be very, very minimal look, I feel like, aesthetic. And Phaedra gave everything but minimal, I feel like. But y'all know how she's been dressing lately and what she's been trying to give lately. So she was very on brand for who she is lately, but I didn't really like it for this particular function, for this particular thing. But whatever, it's in the past. So and I feel like Dr. Alicia, she probably strolled in last because she just got done cooking a goddamn 7-course meal, including dessert for her family. And I'm so passionate about that, y'all, because we watched the episode. First of all, if y'all watch the episode, you know exactly why I'm so passionate about that. First of all, she's very beautiful, very well spoken, obviously very educated. She seems like she's got her stuff going on for her, which is why I don't understand why she took the time to be stuck on stupid with that fool. And by that fool, I mean the one she married to. Like, I totally don't get it, but whatever. Anyway, let me wrap this up before I really lay into him how I would like to. Sweet Tea also had taken a moment to, after they were wrapping up or whatever, she divulges to them how, you know, it's sad, like the nature of what they're doing and speaking about, of course, is sad, especially when she's trying to get pregnant and having, you know, her endometriosis issues going on. And yes, this is when we find out too that she has sarcoidosis, and she goes into all of what that entails. And of course they're sympathetic, but it goes back to what I said before, y'all. It's just hard for me to completely believe that she just had no idea. I'm sorry. It's just whatever. But Jackie collects them, they gives them a pep talk, and they shoot the PSA, which looked really, really beautiful. They all collectively looked really good. Although I did not care for Phaedra's look, like I said before, it wasn't about that. It all came together very nice. But without further ado, Dr. Kema is his name. all the guys showed up and they met up for, they like to get their little cigars in and their guy time and all that. So they all met up and oh, y'all, did you see Curtis there? He was able to catch a flight from the DR apparently. Y'all are so lucky my drink is empty. But sips tea anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. But they all show up and get together and I feel like Dr. Kema, he immediately showed his bootay, if you ask me. And I wasn't mad at the guys in this, the other guys in this scene though. They didn't let me down. I will give them that. But Dr. G, I feel like Dr. G kind of low-key started this, talking about martinis in a glass and being colorful drinks. And is that a man's drink? Like, was it Eugene that said a man's drink is whatever a man is going to be drinking? Okay, period. And I could not agree more. Like, don't worry about what I'm drinking. Like, I hate when we put those unnecessary stereotypes on things. Like, what is this? What is that's 1800s? Like, bye. Anyway. And Kemma and Dr. Alicia have been married for 7 years. And he kind of asks the guys a question that I really didn't understand at first, but I guess it was like along the lines of the women that they are married to are successful and all this stuff. And Dr. Alicia is no different. And she was the dentist first and everything, but she kind of put that to the side. So not understanding exactly what he was trying to ask by that, like how do they balance that, or how does that work? How does that dynamic work in their marriages? I don't know what he was trying to get at directly, but he let us know how he really feels, and how he really feels is, he's from the old school. He's born in Nigeria, and where he is from, if your woman is not listening to you, then it makes you look like a weak man. And I just want to tell him that I think he should just go back and think that in the peace and comfort of wherever he's going to be paying for and living, because couldn't no husband of mine be speaking so ignorantly at a table on national TV. Like, I was just so embarrassed for her in this moment, because his viewpoint on things is just so skewed from the actual reality that it wasn't even funny, that you don't even know, like, the things you're saying, the things you're arguing for or about, or actually the things the reality that you actually live in, because we do live in a patriarchy. So I'm not really understanding why you're talking about women have been running things for so long and you refuse to cut off your nut sacks, when in all actuality that couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm so glad that Damon brought up the was it Damon, or I think it was Eugene actually, the gender wage disparity. Like, for one, are you serious? Like, he just sounded ridiculous. And I almost, if I didn't know better, I would have thought he had to be acting, because do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Like, and like they said, so you think that we don't got nuts? What is that even supposed to mean? Like, yes. I feel like all the brain power you have is exactly compacted into those nuts. Yep, I completely believe that in this moment, because if you working on people's, I couldn't trust him to take out the trash. I couldn't trust him to hand me a fork. I couldn't trust him with nothing. If that's your viewpoint on life, then you have a lot more to learn then I could teach you. But that's Dr. Alicia's husband. That's not mine. So if that is what works for her and them, then by all means go off. But I would not be surprised if she just one day is like, you know what? She just needs to go off on him one good time, I feel like, because he's delusional as hell. Like the way I was looking at my TV, y'all, when this scene came up there, I was so confused. In his culture, men run things. Like I feel like he should have been more aware of if at the end of the day, if that's what he wants, if that's how he wants his life to be divvied up and presented to him on a silver platter, if that's how he wants things to be, he should have been more mindful to find a partner, well, not even a partner, to find a made mattress and mule. Shout outs to Erica De Niro. He should have been more mindful to find that when he was looking for that. Like, because it doesn't seem like Dr. Alicia is trying to fully be that, because if she was, we wouldn't be having these conversations on the TV screen. If she was so willing to made mattress and mule it for the next 40 years, then she would be doing that. I feel like some things should have been ironed out a little bit more before they walk down the aisle, because clearly they both have two very distinct ways of viewing marriage and life and partnership and all that good stuff. But it really don't seem like he's trying to come up off of anything of any of his of this logic that I don't know where he found in the gutter trash, in the his Hanes boxers. Like I don't know where he found this from, but send it back. We don't want it. Like they really had to school that man on inequality in the form of wage disparity, general respect, quality of life, like all of it. Like they really had to break it down for him, and I still don't feel like he was getting it. Like you're talking about everybody can't lead, or she's got to respect you. Well clearly, how are you oh, you want to talk about leadership? I feel like leaders should be able to be left home alone with their children and know exactly what to do and how to feed them without damn near burning down the house. If you want to talk about leadership, it's ensuring that you while you're good, that everybody under quote unquote your leadership is good. And from the looks of it, it didn't really seem as though Alicia was, when she's talking about she hasn't even been able to go nowhere or do nothing for real in like five years, because clearly the other parent that went half on those kids can't even hold shit down when she's not around. So what type of leader are you really? She's got to respect you. Do you respect her? Clearly you don't. When she said she was ready to go for whatever reason, you only had care and concern for yourself. Talking about basically, you basically told her men are speaking, go away. That's what I basically heard. I don't know about y'all. He's flawed. Bye. Ugh, whatever. I'm good. I wanted to see more of him, them, whatever. But if he gonna come and more scenes with that type of logic, then I'm good, because he gonna make me throw my remote at the TV just by being ignorant and just sounding crazy as hell. But y'all, I want to say that's it. Yep. That is it for this episode this recap review. I said episode as if I'm like on raffle. What? Girl, calm down. I cracked myself up, y'all. But like I was saying, this is the end of my recap and review for season 10, episode 10 of Married to Medicine. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, please. Thank you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.